On Monday, June 9th, Jupiter, the planet of luck and abundance and opportunities and expansion, ingresses into the sign of Cancer for the first time in almost 12 years. But what does that mean? Jupiter changes signs about once a year, and so over the course of the last year, Jupiter has been transiting the sign of Gemini and expanding all things Gemini. So we've been experiencing like an expansion of communication and an expansion of curiosity and an expansion of all of those things. Now, as Jupiter moves out of the quick and kind of busyness of Gemini, it's ingressing into the slow and emotional and nurturing waters of Cancer. We might start to notice some of that, busyness in our minds and like that mental chatter and just the busyness of our daily lives kind of starts to slow down a little bit as we're brought deeper into like our more emotional feeling space. And I don't know about you, but I kind of enjoyed Jupiter and Gemini. It was kind of like this expansion of communication and expanding on ideas, and there's just a lot of information flowing around. But now, as Jupiter moves into Cancer, it's kind of bringing our focus to our homes and our families and finding ways to better nurture ourselves emotionally. Jupiter as a planet kind of acts as a magnifying lens where it magnifies the area that it's transiting in our charts. And so it's going to be magnifying all things Cancer over the next year. So we can probably expect for some big emotions and big feeling, but with the feeling, also remember, comes healing. So I really feel like we can expect to see some like heart-centered growth where, we're all kind of collectively healing something. And it's going to be a time where we want to be in these safe spaces where it feels like, that feeling of belonging. And we're going to be expanding on that, expanding on like those safe places that just make us feel safe and secure. And I think each one of us are probably going to be nurturing and nourishing those relationships that, it could be family, but it could also be chosen family because, not everybody has a great relationship with their family. And so it's just going to be like nurturing those relationships that help make us feel seen and heard and understood. And again, that feeling of belonging. So again, we might be feeling this like these bigger or just heightened emotions. And it's just because we're kind of being brought into our feeling space. And so we're going to be feeling more sensitive. But with that, it also brings these beautiful opportunities to really find ways to better nurture yourself and deepen your self-care practices and figure out those things that just like truly deeply nourish you, like on a soul level. And of course, as always, this transit will be affecting everyone very differently and very uniquely depending on you and your own birth chart and your own relationship with Jupiter and, where you have Cancer in your chart. But as a whole, Jupiter and Cancer, it's all about this, intuitive growth and emotional abundance and nurturing those soul deep connections. So this is going to be a time to really like hone in on your own